put them into a Word document or put them into a photo editing program and
Oh,
manipulate it a little bit.
cool.
And like I said, the best part is that it's thin, it's fast, and it's free. So
Don't let it install. I still have the stupid thing just because I'm too lazy to uninstall. Don't let it install the Foxit toolbar, which it will try to do.
oh,
That's the only thing about it that I have a gripe with. I guess they got to make their money somehow. I could live with that. At least it's not the Yahoo toolbar or something. And who knows what the hell is the Foxit toolbar going to do? But
I know,
but
I know.
I use it and it's still miles beyond better than Reader. Reader's ridiculous.
Right, exactly. I'll second that with Steve because one of the things that really irks me, and like you said, open source, they've got to make their money somehow in advertising or
Right.
whatever. So yeah, make sure you just don't click next, and look at the check marks and
That's what I
see if there's
did.
toolbars you can
I
take
know.
off.
I'm like, it's Foxit. What do I have to worry about? Check, check, click, 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 click. Next thing I know, Foxit Reader in my browser.
What about the Ask toolbar? Ask toolbar.
Oh,
That
I
drives me
hate
crazy
that. I
here.
hate that. Yeah,
Can't remember.
is that on Foxit? That's on a couple
No,
things.
that's I
Java.
I just installed it the other day.
There's one Ask toolbar
Yeah.
thing that you have to check. You have to do the opposite of what you think you have to do to not agree. And I hate that. They trick you. It's,
Yeah.
it's like at PetSmart when they changed it, but it used to be at PetSmart if you bought something, canned dog food or whatever, and then you swipe your debit card through the machine, it's a touch screen. So you put your card through. It says, okay, here's your total, and you hit the left hand side of the screen to hit like next. Like it's always on the left hand side of the screen. And then they throw this, would you like to donate $1 to help like homeless pets or whatever? And that's exact color, exact spot on the screen. So you're hitting going next, and you gotta move your finger across the other side of the screen to not accept that and then go back. They finally did change it, but that's sneaky.
That's how they get you. That's how they get you on that. So yeah, pay attention. I've had so many users that I'll get to, they'll say my system is really running slow, and I'll get to their desktops through VNC and I'll look at it, and they've got like 4 or 5 toolbars installed on there. And I'm like, what did you do? Oh, nothing. I just installed Mafia Wars, and then I installed this and I installed that, and you got to look and see what check marks are available.
I love when the toolbars take up more space than the actual browser window.
That's so true.
We got to come up with a name for that. There's probably some kind of syndrome for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Next one. I know I'm breezing through these kind of fast
That's
here.
okay.
But,
we got a ton of emails. Don't worry about it.
Okay. The next one is going to everyone for years, I'm sure you've heard of, we're going to be a paperless office. We're going to be a paperless, society and such. Okay. That I've heard that for decades, and it's just not going to fly anytime soon. But if you do want to back up your documents that are stored in a file cabinet somewhere, that you may not have the electronic version of it, you could sit there and buy a little scanner or something or whatever. But how are you going to store it, and how are you going to find it quickly? One of the things that I found is that in our office, we do, being a car dealership here, we do a lot of documents. If anybody who's bought a car knows that you had a stack of paperwork from financing to the car and to the title work and everything else like that, when you're done with the deal, all that filing has to be stored somewhere, and by government law, it has to be stored for years and years and years. Those packages can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000 just for that package. And if you're a small office just starting out and you want the quality and the security of an image backup of a document that you have to keep on file, and you don't have the budget to do that, well, what do? Go back to open source again. Open source, there's a package called OpenKM.
Cool. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Knowledge management is actually what KM stands for.
Nice.
And this package installs, its own operating system. You download an ISO and burn it to a CD and just put it on a machine there. And it actually runs as, I believe, a Debian Linux operating system, and it just sits there. Once you do it, you don't have to know anything about Linux at all. The beauty of it is that once you set it up, and the instructions are very simple to do, you go to any browser that's on the same network, you type in the IP address in the browser, and boom, you're at the login screen. And you can do all of your document management there. The beauty of it is that you can set up your users full security rights so that someone in accounting can't see what something in the parts department is doing or vice versa. And like I said, we've paid, $20,000, $30,000 for these type of packages. I'm now looking at moving us over to something like this strictly on a cost platform.
Does it do everything that you need?
So far, I'm still in testing mode on that one. There are a couple of things that I've seen that it's like, okay, it's not exact what they're used to, and I'm trying to not impact my users as much as possible. I'm trying to minimize the damage of, I have to relearn all this again, and
Right.
it used to do this. But so far, I've been very happy with it. So that was just a couple of weeks ago, so I'm still in the testing phases of it.
Is it just file sharing management, or what are they able to manage? What are they managing here? Files?
What they're doing, everything. You can do everything from scanning a document in a copier scanner kind of system. You can throw in there movies, pictures, PDFs, TIFFs, anything that you've got, it will store. Anything electronic, it will store. So if you've got an office and with 10 people on it, and you've got some pictures of a damage that was done, as well as the documentation, and as well as this, as well as that, you can throw in all these things on there. And the beauty of it is that you can then put keywords in there, and this is where I'm working on right now, what we call indexing, where if you want to look for the customer's name, or you want to look for the VIN number, like in a car, or you want to look at the ticket number or anything else. These are all keywords that you can put in and search for. So it allows you to find this document quickly, easily, and be able to do anything you want to with it, whether it's print it, email it, zip it, and burn it to a CD. I mean, there's all sorts of different benefits to it. So it just makes that process that much easier, where all you have to worry about is scanning it, indexing it, and forgetting about it.
I see. And it's stored on did you say a Linux machine? It has to be a separate box?
It's a separate box, but it doesn't have to be a beefy box at all. It can be an old system that you have laying around, because it doesn't require a lot of horsepower.
Right. It's basically like a file server with a nice GUI?
That's exactly it.
Okay.
That's exactly it. With a good database query infrastructure in it, so you could actually search for documents very easily under a bunch of different keywords.
That's really neat.
Yeah. I stumbled across that about a month ago. So
it seems perfect for like a car dealership type place.
Oh yeah, exactly. If we can replace our existing one, then it'll be even better. So
cool.
Yeah. The next thing I'd like to talk about is email servers. I know that everyone's probably kind of turning their head a little bit, saying, why would I want to have an email server? Everyone has a free Yahoo or Yahoo Mail or Gmail, or even if they have like a GoDaddy hosted domain, they all have an email address of some kind. I probably have 7 of them.
Right.
It gets a little crazy.
Right.
But what if you already have an email? I'm sorry. What if you already have a domain name, and you want your email address hosted in your location and not somewhere in Utah?
Right.
For whatever reason, you want the security, you want the control. Maybe you just want to learn about it and learn how to do that. Keep everything internal or faster. There's a lot of packages that are out there, again, open source and free, that are out there. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but they're listed on the site here. There's Open Exchange. If everyone knows about Microsoft Exchange, it's a very expensive email system for that does everything for corporate, in the sense of address books and shared calendaring and all sorts of things. And Open Exchange seems to have a lot of those same features built into it as well. And there's also Zimbra. Zimbra has an open source platform, and they also have a paid platform for different uses. The most basic one that is truly, it's been around forever, is called Postfix. And Postfix, you need to know your Linux to do Postfix.
Really?
I haven't. I stumbled on it and I was like, okay, this is neat. It's quick, clean, dirty. It doesn't do all that shared calendaring. It doesn't do all the things that the corporate needs, but it gets an email system up and running quickly.
And this is like you're having a local email server now.
That's exactly it. Your server is sitting right there next to you instead of being housed somewhere else.
Gotcha.
And the speed is a lot better, especially if you're supporting an internal network. If you have your let's say GoDaddy, for example, okay, you have your email, you have your domain, your website, and everything hosted at GoDaddy,
Hmm.
and your email is hosted at GoDaddy. If the owner of the company wants to send an email to me, it goes out to GoDaddy,
Right.
sits out on their servers, and then has to come back into me
Right.
again.
Right. Right.
You know, to me, that's just a waste of bandwidth. But it's a small amount, I know. But it's just one of those things. There are people out there that like to tinker with things. Some people may not know that you can have your own email server
Right.
in-house without spending a dime. That's why I just wanted to mention that.
No, these are great. And, we did talk about Open Exchange on Linux for the Rest of Us a couple times. Dorset has come a long way, and it's pretty much ready for prime time now. So I haven't checked it out personally, but I'm a Gmail fanatic. But if I ever did need to do this, it sounds like a good option.
Sure, sure. Especially if you have your own domain and you feel like a change or anything like that and you want to play around with it. It doesn't hurt anything. The worst thing that can happen is that you go back and let it host at the other site again.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Good stuff.
So, yeah, well, I've only got 2 more things to talk about for those people that are sitting there saying, when is he going to wrap this up?
No, no, you're fine. You're right on schedule. What else?
Well, the 2 things that I'd like to talk about, they're more tools for learning new things, possibly saving your customers or your company money. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about is actually the possibility of running multiple operating systems on your desktop. If you want to be able to, let's say you're running Windows 7 or Windows XP on your desktop, and you want to sit there and say, well, I've heard Dor talking about, Podbuntu, or I want to really try this version of Ubuntu or anything else like that, but I don't have an extra system, or I don't want to tie up, my existing system or take a chance on ruining anything. There's a lot of different tools out there, but one that I have used and I've actually been very happy with, yes, it comes from Oracle, unfortunately, but it's called VirtualBox. Steve, I don't know if you've ever used VirtualBox before, but I have not had any complaints about it. It seems to work very, very well.
I am not I don't run too many VMs. I don't know what it is about me and VMs, but I have run VirtualBox and I like it. I mean, it's simple. It's so easy to install VMs. Very simple. And it's free. You can't beat it.
What I love about it is that you can run anything from Microsoft to Mac OS to Linux right on top of your operating system. So that's what kind of blew me away, because it's like, Mac OS, really? Well, of course,
Can you run Mac OS on it?
That's what I have read. I don't have a Mac OS CD, so I'm not a Mac guy. But
that's interesting.
That's what I have read, that you can run anything. As a matter of fact, inside of VirtualBox, you have drop downs. And it actually asks you, what operating system are you installing? And what version of that operating system are you installing? You don't have to type it in. It has all the ones listed there. And so it will allow you to run a full install of whatever that operating system is. So, you could have, 10 different flavors of Linux if you wanted to. You want to say, what's the difference between CentOS, Debian, Podbuntu, Ubuntu, there's so many of them. There's probably about 100 of them.
Yeah,
Puppy Linux, all the different ones.
Yeah, I that's the main reason I have run VMs, is to test Linux distros out at this point. But
sure.
I know guys that I think Chris he's get like 12 gigs of RAM in his machine. He just loads up his computer with VMs. So it's a fun thing to do, and it's a useful thing to do if you need to have a separate operating system running. I think that you can run VirtualBox on a Mac, but unless you have some hacking going on, I don't think you could run Mac OS in the VirtualBox. But I could be wrong. If anybody, let me know.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Like that.
I would like to do that too.
And don't forget, everyone, YouTube is a great source for learning things. There's a lot of people out there that have shown things, how to do things on YouTube that how do you do this? How do you install this? And so it's a wealth of information out there.
It is. I've been criticized a little bit, but I still adhere to the fact that when kids learn something, in these days and times, when a kid learns something, the first thing he does is he goes to YouTube and does a tutorial on it. He wants everybody to know that he has this knowledge. And if you could put up, seriously, if you could put up with the unprofessionalisms that come along with that, I actually have to get a clip out because it's so funny. This kid's trying to teach us how to use Vegas, and his mom keeps knocking on the door, and he's yelling at her. And so in between that drama is actual good information. So I love what these kids are doing these days. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Mom, stop interrupting. I'm recording something.
Serious. And he'll be like, oh, that was just my mother, guys.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Great.
Hold on, I got to take the trash out.
Yeah, right. Stuff like that.